Hey, so this is Aaron. I built Hihat over the course of give or take about a year. I spent a lot of effort learning Python and Django so I could build a good back end. And the front end is built in Xcode with Swift. So unfortunately, it's not a cross platform product. There were a lot of iterations, and there's actually a lot of features that I built and then ended up removing from the final product because I tested them with people and they didn't understand them. So the original intent of the app was to build something that was highly gamified. And so there were a lot of ways that you could get points, and there was a big emphasis on getting points, and there were achievements and stuff like that. So the back end actually has all of those features still like sort of half hooked up. The front end, I built them and then I just unhooked them all when I tested the app with people and they didn't respond to those particular features. Obviously, I should have done a better job of user testing features before I built them, but you live and you learn. So Hi-Hat is an app for connecting fans and the bands that they love. And the main thing that I saw as a deficiency in other apps that do stuff like notifying you when shows are happening is that they don't really promote a lot of engagement on the fans' part. The fans' participation in the apps is basically go to the app when there's a show because the app told you there was a show and then read about the show. And that's it. And so I wanted something that could take a lot of the functionality that bands used to enjoy when everybody went to their MySpace pages, for instance, and try to put that somewhere on mobile. I could go through a whole explanation about why this didn't work out, but suffice to say, I ultimately decided that this was a problem that I couldn't solve, partially because I think that people's use patterns are already pretty defined, and I don't have the resources as a single person to convince enough people to use a new app that does this for it to actually be worth it. I feel like this is something that could be built as a feature on top of something like Spotify. I don't think that anybody in that space has got the social stuff right just yet. So anyway, all of that being said, what we're seeing here is your landing page after you create an account. I don't want to go through the account creation process to show it off, but I will say that you can log in and create an account as a standalone, or you can use Facebook Connect. And I wrote the whole app so that you could connect and disconnect your Facebook account, and like it would connect to whatever account you currently had, and that all works properly. So hooray for that. So when you land on the app, if you don't have a band selected currently, it gives you a list of your bands. Now, each of these bands has a totally functional, I guess you could say, page, even though it's not a website. And I will tap on it to show you. So it'll flip over, and then the app basically becomes this thing where you can look at the combined social media feed of your favorite band and also information about upcoming shows. Now, because of some API issues that I haven't resolved, this is not loading new information, but the backend is actually set up to cache the API calls from Facebook and Twitter because I don't want to get rate limited. So assuming that fixing whatever permissions issues I've broken here, probably because I just haven't renewed my token in a year, this would load a complete Facebook feed and Twitter feed, and it would load whatever shows I had entered in here manually. So this is the show page, of which I can't currently see anything. Everyone has a profile. I can take a picture using the camera, obviously, and that will show up as my profile. Okay. In the effort of keeping this a little bit less personal, I've taken a picture of the ceiling. But you can see it worked. I have a certain number of notes, that's sort of like karma points in the app. You get notes for taking a profile picture because I want people to do that. And you get notes for checking into shows, which is a feature that works. And you get points for posting an update. So I can say, hello, everyone. And I will receive points for that. So this combined feed doesn't just have Facebook and Twitter. It also has fans posting. So I thought that would be pretty cool. There's top fans. So it shows by the number of notes that you have. Obviously, this should have updated with my current notes, but hey, not everything's working right now because I've neglected the app for a long time. There's a list of bands here, and of these bands, I could view any of their combined feeds and their shows. I can also add bands, so this search works. There's a limited number of bands, but it does a pretty quick search when you just type in some letters. So I just picked a random band to add. I've added it. It's this one. I'm going to tap on it. And then there's an opening like, hey, look, introduce yourself. Here's what happened. Okay, skipping ahead, I've set up a show for this band. This is obviously not a real show, but here's the show page as it's working. So you can scroll around. You can see where the show is. Obviously, you can get the details about who's playing and when and all that stuff. What's really nice is I combined the venue info into one page, and you can, with one tap, get directions, or you can get a ride. Plus, you can say you're going to the show. This actually updates in real time for everyone, so you will always see who is going as they click to say they're going. Once the show actually starts, this transforms from an RSVP into a check-in, and you get points for checking into the show when you're there. It obviously checks your location, and you can only check in when you're within like 50 meters of the venue or something like that. So one last thing, there's also a band profile, which I can look at, and it will have links to all of their social media and stuff like that. Okay, that's a tour of Hihat, and after I complete this, I am going to take the app down from the store. It was a journey developing the app. I learned a lot. I met some cool people along the way, going to meetups and sharing the app. I got a lot of support from people, which I appreciate, but ultimately I decided that it wasn't going to work out. I am interested in anyone who wants to see the source and explore this type of product and see what you could do with it. There's obviously a shitload of features built, and I would love to share this with somebody who could put it to good use. Get in touch. All right. Thanks for watching.